Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to our Nelson County Board of Commissioners voting session. Today's Thursday, April the 2nd, 2020. We'll start out with a roll call, and we'll do a voice call.
Present.
Present.
Here.
Present.
And I'm here, as you, we're all here. Let it be recorded that all 5 commissioners are present. If you will, please stand for a brief invocation and the pledge. You would bow your heads, please. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for everything, Lord, and we ask that you give us knowledge and wisdom to carry out the business of this county. And Lord, we ask for you to touch this nation, Lord, as we go through this COVID-19 pandemic. Lord, we know that you have the power to cure. So it's in Christ's name we do ask and pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any announcements? We move on to the approval of the minutes. First up, we have the minutes of the work session held on March 19th, 2020. Any additions or deletions? Motions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Nix.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by raising your right hand. Let the record show that was approved 4-0. Next up, we have the minutes of the voting session held on March 19, 2020. Any additions or deletions? Motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Satterfield. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by raising your hand. And let the record show that that was approved 4-0. Next up, we have the minutes of special call meeting held on March 26, 2020. Any additions or deletions? Motions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Nix.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Satterfield. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by show of your hand. Let the record show that that was approved 4-0 as well. Next up, we have the approval agenda. I do have 2 additions to the agenda, be numbers 4 and number 5. Resolution related to school district issuance of bonds. And number 5 will be proposed emergency order to implement local emergency measures related to restaurants and personal contact business establishments. I'll entertain a motion with those 2 additions.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Nix.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by show of hand. Let the record show that that was approved 4-0 with the additions. Nobody signed up for public comment in this section. We'll move on to new business. First up, we have consideration of mutual aid agreement with United States Army Garrison Fort Benning. Chief Thompson presented that to us. This is an agreement where we would be eligible for resources if we needed those. Is there any other information needed? Motions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Satterfield.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fawcett. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by show of hand. Let the record show that that was approved 4-0. Next up, we have consideration of the write-off of transfer station bad debt. I think at this time it's not something we will need to actually vote on because I think we have transferred that over to our collection agency.
That's correct.
So it will not require any action on the board. Unless you want to take it. Okay. Next up, we have consideration of board appointment. Department of Family and Children Services, Jennifer Wright replacing Edwin Looper, term April 2020 through March 2025. Any other information needed?
Well, just one thing. Are those on the, I know we've been working on getting alternating terms. Does this fulfill that with that particular board? I meant to ask that last time.
Yes, Commissioner, I believe it does.
Okay.
Those are 5-year terms, and I believe that is on
I
us.
think they're staggered.
Good, yeah, we were working on that through all the other ones.
Any other information needed? Motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by show of hand. Let the record show that that was approved 4-0. Number 4 is the resolution related to school district issuance of bond. And I will read that. tax levy resolution into the record. Whereas pursuant to resolutions adopted by the Board of Education of Dawson County as the managing and controlling body of the Dawson County School District, the political subdivision of the state of Georgia on February 11, 2020 and April 2, 2020 collectively, the bond resolution of the Board of Education authorized the issuance of a general obligation bond of the district in the principal amount of $10 million. The bond or the Series 2020 bond for the purpose of providing funds to the district to pay or to be applied toward the cost of adding to, renovating, repairing, improving, and equipping existing school buildings and school system facilities, acquiring and/or improving land for school system facilities, acquiring miscellaneous new equipment, fixtures and furnishings for the school system, including technology equipment, software, tablets and laptops, and safety and security equipment, acquiring school buses and transportation and maintenance equipment, acquiring books, digital resources, and other media for the school system, constructing and equipping new school buildings and facilities and new educational space, including athletic, technological, and academic facilities, and paying expenses incident to accomplishing the foregoing and for the purpose of payment of a portion of the interest on such debt. And whereas the Board of Education, being charged with the duty of managing the affairs of the district, has determined that in order to pay the principal of and the interest on the bond has the same become due and payable, whether by maturity, redemption, or otherwise, to the extent such principal and interest is not satisfied from the 1% sales and use tax for educational purposes on all sales and uses in Dawson County, Georgia, sales and use tax approved in the election held on November 5th, 2019, and to the extent such principal and interest is not satisfied from other lawful funds of the district, it is necessary that there be levied an annual tax upon all the taxable property in said district sufficient to raise the amount set forth below for 2020 and each of the calendar years set forth below. And whereas proper certificates and recommendations have been made that a direct annual tax for such purposes be made in the amounts and for the years herein stated, and whereas it is necessary that a tax be levied for the purpose of paying the principal and interest on the bond due in each year, whether by maturity, redemption, or otherwise, to the extent such principal and interest is not satisfied from the proceeds of the sales and use tax, and to the extent such interest is not satisfied from other lawful funds of the district. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Dawson County, and is hereby resolved by authority of the same, that there shall be and is hereby levied upon all taxable property in the district which comprises all of Dawson County a direct annual tax sufficient to raise for 2020 and each of the calendar years set forth below, the sum set forth below, in order to pay the principal of and interest on the Series 2020 bonds as follows. 2/1/21, $71,250 in interest. 8/1/21, $45,000 in interest. 2/1/22, $45,000 in interest. 8/1/22, $2,320,000 in principal, $45,000 in interest, for a total of $2,365,000. 2/1/23, $34,560 in interest. 8/1/23, $2,435,000 in principal, $34,560 in interest, $2,469,560 total. 2/1/24, $23,602.50 in interest. 8/1/24, $2,560,000 in principal, $23,602.50 in interest, total of $2,583,602.50. 2/1/25, $12,082.50 in interest, and 8/1/25, $2,685,000 in principal, $12,082.50 for a total of $2,697,082.50. Total principal of $10 million, interest of $346,740 for a total of $10,346,740. Said several sums are hereby irrevocably pledged and appropriated to the payment of the principal and interest on the bond, has the same become due and payable, whether by maturity, redemption, or otherwise, all to the extent such principal and interest is not satisfied from the proceeds of the sales and use tax, and to the extent such principal and interest is not satisfied from other lawful funds of the district. The said several sums shall be collected by the tax commissioner of Dawson County in each of said years, and shall be annually paid into a fund to be maintained for and applied to the payment of principal and interest on the bond when due, and provisions to meet the requirements of this paragraph shall be made annually thereafter upon receipt of an annual certificate from the Board of Education certified the rate of tax levy, if any, necessary to pay such debt service on the bond. Be it further resolved by the authority aforesaid that all orders and resolutions in conflict with this resolution are hereby repealed. Adopted by the Board of Commissioners of Dawson County, Georgia, this second day of April 2020. Any other information needed? Motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gaines,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Fawcett. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote by show of hand. Let the record show that was approved 4-0. We'll move on to item number 5. Proposed emergency order to implement local emergency measures related to restaurants and personal contact business establishments. And I will read that to you. Order of the Dawson County Chair of the Board of Commissioners implementing local emergency measures related to restaurants and personal contact business establishments. Whereas on March 13, 2020, Governor Brian Kemp, following President Donald Trump's national emergency declaration, declared a public health emergency in Georgia, effective on March 14, 2020, to deploy all available resources for the mitigation and treatment of the novel coronavirus 2019, COVID-19, and whereas on March 19, 2020, the Dawson County Board of Commissioners passed an emergency resolution to provide for the operation of Dawson County during the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas on March 23, 2020, Governor Kemp issued an executive order number 03.23.20.01, executive order to prohibit any establishment, corporation, nonprofit, or organization from allowing more than 10 persons to be gathered at a single location if such gathering requires persons to stand or be within 6 feet of any other person. And whereas through his executive order, Governor Kemp also ordered the Department of Public Health to order certain persons within the state of Georgia who have serious underlying health conditions likely to cause an increased spread of COVID-19 if such persons were to become infected to isolate, quarantine, or shelter in place within their homes or place of residence. And whereas in response to the executive order, the Department of Public Health issued a corresponding administrative order on March 27, 2020, administrative order, and whereas unless extended, both the executive order and the administrative order are effective until 12 p.m. on Monday, April 6, 2020, and whereas pursuant to the Dawson County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, Emergency Management and Emergency Services, Article 3, Emergency Management, Section 1840, Emergency Management and Response Powers, following a declaration of emergency, whether made by the governor or a declaration of local emergency, and during the continuance of such state of emergency, the chairman of the board is empowered to implement local emergency measures to protect life and property, and whereas there exist emergency circumstances throughout the entirety of Dawson County requiring extraordinary and immediate corrective actions for the protection of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Dawson County, and whereas to prevent or minimize injury to people resulting from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, certain additional actions are required to promote social distancing. Measures as people in Dawson County continue to gather in sufficiently large numbers in enclosed spaces where social distancing cannot be easily maintained, including dining restaurants and business establishments that engage in close personal contact with others. Now, therefore, pursuant to the authority vested in me by local and state law, the following additional emergency measures are hereby ordered within the unincorporated areas of Dawson County. All restaurants, food courts, brew pubs, and other eating establishments shall close to the public except to provide takeout, delivery, drive-through, or curbside service. Dining services are prohibited, and all indoor or outdoor patio dining areas shall be closed to the public. Cafeterias and hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, or similar facilities shall not be subject to these restrictions. Wineries and breweries shall close to the public except to provide for retail package sales of wine and/or malt beverages to be consumed off premises. On-premises tastings and/or consumption is prohibited. All establishments providing body care services which require physical contact between the provider and the client, including but not limited to barbering, hair design, cosmetology, aesthetics, massage therapy, tattooing, body waxing, tanning salons, or nail care, shall be closed to the public. This paragraph shall not restrict any services performed by or under the direct supervision of a licensed medical doctor, nurse, physician's assistant, dentist, dental assistant, physician, physical therapist, chiropractor, or other healthcare professional. All businesses licensed mainly for the sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption, such as bars, taverns, nightclubs, and similar establishments, and all indoor recreational facilities, including but not limited to gyms, health studios, health clubs, yoga, bear, spin, or other fitness centers, spas, saunas, indoor amusement facilities, arcades, bowling alleys, pool halls, movie theaters, playhouses, and live performance venues shall be closed to the public. All other retail, commercial, or industrial establishments will be permitted to remain open subject to the following restrictions. Reasonable steps are taken to ensure that customers, employees, and other persons on the premises shall generally not be within 6 feet of each other for longer than brief periods, and employees are not suffered or permitted to work if they are exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19 or residing with anyone who is exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19. All employers and businesses which remain open are encouraged to the maximum extent possible to provide employees with the means, authorization, and equipment to perform their job functions remotely by teleworking or similar means. The Governor's Executive Order number 03.23.20.01 is incorporated herein by this reference, such that all persons ordered by the Department of Public Health to isolate, quarantine, or shelter in place within their homes or place of residence shall comply with such executive order or administrative order in accordance with the Governor's Executive Order. The following populations are specifically included: those persons who live in a nursing home or long-term care facility, those persons who have chronic lung disease, those persons who are currently undergoing cancer treatment, and those persons included in any Department of Public Health administrative order. Pursuant to OCGA 38-3-4 and Code Section 18-41, the Dawson County Sheriff's Office is authorized to enforce the orders, rules, and regulations implemented by the Chair of the Board of Commissioners during a declared emergency. Specifically, Code Section 18-41B provides in part that any person who violates any provision in this article shall, upon conviction, therefore be guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by a fine not exceeding $1,000, imprisonment for a term not exceeding 60 days, or both. Such fine and imprisonment for each violation. Each person assisting in the commission of a violation shall be guilty of separate offenses. Each day during which a violation or failure to comply continues shall constitute a separate violation. This order shall be effective immediately and shall remain in effect for 14 days from the date hereof, unless extended or earlier terminated by further order of the Chair of the Dawson County Board of Commissioners. Entered at 6 p.m. on Thursday, April the 2nd, 2020.
It's my understanding that the governor just did release his press up. I would like to take a break and have that to review before we make.
Go ahead.
I sent a copy of that to your email. I don't know if you've already gotten it yet. You have a copy. Oh, way ahead of me, huh? There's one section in it that I would point you to first, frankly, that directly impacts cities and counties.
Come over here.
You want a copy of it? Give the attorney a copy, please. Yeah.
Like on Zoom. Thank you very much. I would, this is literally hot off the press. I would direct your attention to, the pages are not numbered. Next to the last page, this list was issued at 3:12 p.m. incidentally.
Different time.
Next to the last paragraph, it is further ordered that pursuant to Code Section 38-3-51, the powers of counties and cities conveyed in Titles 36 and 38, including those specific powers enumerated in Code Sections 36-5-22.1 and 36-35-3 are hereby suspended to the extent of suspending enforcement of any local ordinance or order adopted or issued since March 1, 2020, with the stated purpose or effect of responding to a public health state of emergency, ordering residents to shelter in place, ordering a quarantine, or combating the spread of coronavirus or COVID-19 that in any way conflicts, varies, or differs with the terms of this order. Enforcement of all such ordinances and orders is hereby suspended, and no county or municipality shall adopt any similar ordinance or order while this order is in effect, except for such ordinances or orders as are designed to enforce compliance with this order.
So are you saying we don't need to adopt anything?
Yeah.
Well, it's a preemptive paragraph that specifies that we're prohibited from enforcing or passing any further orders.
Would it be prudent now, so we can take this in that just literally came, can we make a motion to recess for 15 minutes in order to digest this and then come back into session?
We can.
And that gives you time in order from a legal perspective to look at it.
Yes.
Why
Mr. Chair,
don't we just let the attorney go through it, and then we make comments if we want to comment, and just do it in the meeting, so the public can hear it too?
Completely up to you all.
You can do it.
Yeah, I was just gonna have time to read through it, but however y'all want to do it.
You want me to start from the top?
Let's go ahead.
Okay, settle in.
Yeah, this is gonna take 30 minutes. I'd rather just.
Go ahead.
The executive order to ensure a safe and healthy Georgia. This is an executive order issued by the governor today. Whereas on March 14, 2020, due to the impact of COVID-19 on the state of Georgia, I, the governor, issued executive order number 03.14.20.01, declaring public health state of emergency in Georgia, and whereas Georgia General Assembly concurred with executive order 03.14.20.01 by joint resolution on March 16, 2020, and whereas the number of COVID-19 cases in Georgia continues to rise, and whereas the Georgia Department of Public Health has determined that COVID-19 is spreading throughout communities, requiring the implementation of certain restrictions to limit the spread, and whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has determined that older adults, people of any age who have serious underlying medical conditions, and certain other people groups may be at higher risk for more serious complications from COVID-19, and whereas Code Section 38-3-51C4 vests the governor with the power to perform and exercise such other functions, powers, and duties as may be deemed necessary to promote and secure the safety and protection of the civilian population. And whereas Code Section 38-3-51 sub D1 vests the governor with the power to suspend any regulatory statute prescribing the procedures for conduct of state business or the orders, rules, or regulations of any state agency if strict compliance with any statute, order, rule, or regulation would in any way prevent, hinder, or delay necessary action in coping with the emergency or disaster. And whereas Code Sections 31-2A-4 and 31-12-4 vests the Department of Public Health with the power to segregate and isolate certain individuals with certain communicable diseases or conditions when said individual's exposure to the general population is likely to endanger the health of others. And whereas in consultation with the governor's coronavirus task force and health and emergency preparedness officials, I have determined that the following temporary actions are necessary and appropriate to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Georgia's residents and visitors. Now therefore, pursuant to aforementioned Georgia law and the authority vested in me as governor of the state of Georgia, it is hereby ordered all residents and visitors of the state of Georgia shall practice social distancing and sanitation in accordance with this order and guidelines published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It is further ordered no business establishment, corporation, nonprofit corporation, organization, or county or municipal government shall allow more than 10 persons to be gathered at a single location if such gathering requires persons to stand or to be seated within 6 feet of any other person. This provision shall not apply to cohabitating persons outside of their homes family units or roommates residing together in private homes, or entities defined as, quote, critical infrastructure by this order. It is further ordered that as used in this order, the term, quote, single location shall be interpreted to mean a space where all persons gathered cannot maintain at least 6 feet of distance between themselves and any other person. The term, quote, single location shall not include private residences. It is further ordered that all residents and visitors of the state of Georgia are required to shelter in place within their homes or places of residence, meaning remaining in their place of residence and taking every possible precaution to limit social interaction to prevent the spread or infection of COVID-19 to themselves or any other person, unless they are, 1, conducting or participating in essential services, 2, preparing necessary travel or performing necessary travel, 3, are engaged in the performance of or travel to and from the performance of minimum basic operations for a business, establishment, corporation, nonprofit corporation, or organization not classified as critical infrastructure. Or 4, are part of the workforce for critical infrastructure and are actively engaged in the performance of or travel to and from their respective employment. It is further ordered that essential services permitted pursuant to the provisions of this order are limited to the following. 1, ordering necessary supplies and services for family or household members, such as food and supplies for household consumption and use, medical supplies or medication, supplies and equipment needed to work from home, and products needed to maintain safety, sanitation, and essential maintenance of the home or residence. Preference should be given to online ordering, home delivery, and curbside pickup services wherever possible as opposed to in-store shopping. 2, engaging in activities essential for the health and safety of family or household members, such as seeking medical, behavioral health, or emergency services. And 3, engaging in outdoor exercise activities so long as a minimum distance of 6 feet is maintained during such activities between all persons who are not occupants of the same household or residence. It is further ordered that necessary travel permitted under this order is limited to such travel as is required to conduct or participate in essential services, minimum basic operations, or critical infrastructure as defined by this order. It is further ordered that minimum basic operations are limited to 1, a minimum necessary activities to maintain the value of a business, establishment, corporation, nonprofit corporation, or organization, provide services, manage inventory, ensure security, process payroll and employee benefits, or for related functions. Such minimum necessary activities include remaining open to the public, subject to the restrictions of this order. 2, the minimum necessary activities to facilitate employees or volunteers being able to work remotely from their residences, or members or patrons being able to participate remotely from their residences. And 3, instances where employees are working outdoors without regular contact with other persons, such as delivery services, contractors, landscape businesses, and agricultural industry services. It is further ordered that all businesses, establishments, corporations, nonprofit corporations, or organizations that are highlighted not critical infrastructure shall only engage in minimum basic operations as defined in this order during the effective dates of this order. Such entities shall also implement measures which mitigate the exposure and spread of COVID-19 among its workforce. Such measures shall include the following. 1, screening and evaluating workers who exhibit signs of illness, such as a fever over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, cough, or shortness of breath. 2, requiring workers who exhibit signs of illness to not report to work or to seek medical attention. 3, enhancing sanitation of the workplace as appropriate. 4, requiring hand washing or sanitation by workers at appropriate places within the business location. 5, providing personal protective equipment as available and appropriate to the function and location of the worker within the business location. 6, prohibiting gatherings of workers during working hours. 7, permitting workers to take breaks and meals outside, in their office or personal workspace, or in such other areas where proper social distancing is attainable. 8, implementing teleworking for all possible workers. 9, implementing staggered shifts for all possible workers. 10, holding all meetings and conferences virtually wherever possible. 11, delivering intangible services remotely wherever possible. 12, discouraging workers from using other workers' phones, desks, offices, or other work tools and equipment. 13, prohibiting handshaking and other unnecessary person-to-person contact in the workplace. 14, placing notices that encourage hand hygiene at the entrance to the workplace and in other workplace areas where they are likely to be seen. 15, suspending the use of personal identification number or PIN pads, PIN entry devices, electronic signature capture, and any other credit card receipt signature requirements to the extent such suspension is permitted by agreements with credit card companies and credit agencies. 16, enforcing social distancing of non-cohabitating persons while present on such entities' leased or owned property. 17, for retailers and service providers, providing for alternative points of sale outside of buildings, including curbside pickup or delivery of products and or services if an alternative point of sale is permitted under Georgia law. 18, increasing physical space between workers and customers. 19, providing disinfectant and sanitation products for workers to clean their workspace, equipment, and tools. And 20, increasing physical space between workers' work sites to at least 6 feet. It is further ordered that the term critical infrastructure shall refer to businesses, establishments, corporations, nonprofit corporations, and organizations as defined by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security as, quote, essential critical infrastructure workforce, close quote, in guidance dated March 19, 2020, and revised on March 28, 2020, and those suppliers which provide essential goods and services to the critical infrastructure workforce, as well as entities that provide legal services, home hospice, and nonprofit corporations, or nonprofit organizations that offer food distribution or other health or mental health services. The operation of critical infrastructure shall not be impeded by county, municipal, or local ordinance. Critical infrastructure that continues in-person operations during the effective dates of this order shall implement measures which mitigate the exposure and spread of COVID-19 among its workforce. Such measures may include, but shall not be limited to, 1, screening and evaluating workers who exhibit signs of illness such as fever over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, cough, or shortness of breath. 2, requiring workers who exhibit signs of illness to not report to work or to seek medical attention. 3, enhancing sanitation of the workplace as appropriate. 4, requiring hand washing or sanitation by workers at appropriate places within the business location. 5, providing personal protective equipment as available and appropriate to the function and location of the worker within the business location. 6, prohibiting gatherings of workers during working hours. 7, permitting workers to take breaks and lunch outside in their office or personal workspace, or in such other areas where proper social distancing is attainable. 8, implementing teleworking for all possible workers. 9, implementing staggered shifts for all possible workers. 10, holding all meetings and conferences virtually wherever possible. 11, delivering intangible services remotely wherever possible. 12, discouraging workers from using other workers' phones, desks, offices, or other work tools and equipment. 13, providing disinfectant and sanitation products for workers to clean their workspace, equipment, and tools. 14, prohibiting handshaking or other unnecessary person-to-person contact in the workplace. And 15, placing notices that encourage hand hygiene at the entrance to the workplace and in other workplace areas where they are likely to be seen. And 16, suspending the use of personal identification or PIN pads, PIN entry devices, electronic signature capture, and any other credit card receipt signature requirements to the extent such suspension is permitted by agreements with credit card companies and credit agencies. It is further ordered that the Georgia Department of Economic Development is authorized to issue guidance to any business corporation, organization, or industry trade group regarding its status as critical infrastructure. This guidance shall not require a finding of fact, but shall be in writing and shall be considered a final agency action for the purpose of proceedings under Code Section 50-13-19. It is further ordered, all restaurants and private social clubs shall cease providing dine-in services. Takeout, curbside pickup, and delivery are permitted in accordance with the provisions of this order. This provision shall not limit the operation of dine-in services in hospitals, healthcare facilities, nursing homes, or other long-term care facilities. However, to the extent possible, such facilities should offer in-room dining. It is further ordered that all gyms, fitness centers, bowling alleys, theaters, live performance venues, operators of amusement rides, as defined by Code Section 25-15-51, body art studios permitted pursuant to Code Section 31-40-2, businesses registered pursuant to Code Section 43-10-11 and 43-10-18, estheticians as defined by Code Section 43-10-18, sub 8, hair designers as defined by Code Section 43-10-179, persons licensed to practice massage therapy pursuant to Code Section 43-24A-8, and businesses which possess a license to operate as or otherwise meet the definition of, quote, bar as defined by Code Section 3-1-2, sub 2.1, shall cease in-person operations and shall close to the public while this order is in effect. It is further ordered that persons required to shelter in place under any provision of this order shall not receive visitors except as follows. 1. Visitors providing medical, behavioral health, or emergency services or medical supplies or medication, including home hospice. 2. Visitors providing support for the person to conduct activities of daily living or instrumental activities of daily living. 3. Visitors providing necessary supplies and services, such as food and supplies for household consumption and use, supplies and equipment needed to work from home, and products needed to maintain safety, sanitation, and essential maintenance of the home or residence. Or 4. Visitors received during end-of-life circumstances. To the extent practicable, under the circumstances, visitors shall maintain a minimum distance of 6 feet between themselves and all other occupants of the person's home or residence. Any visitors visiting for the sole purpose of delivering medication, supplies, or other tangible goods shall, to the extent practicable, deliver such items in a manner that does not require in-person contact or require the deliverer to enter the person's home or residence. It is further ordered that the provisions of this order related to visitors listed in the immediately preceding paragraph shall be strictly enforced against nursing homes or other long-term care facilities, including inpatient hospice, assisted living communities, personal care homes, intermediate care homes, community living arrangements, and community integration homes. It is further ordered that an exception to any shelter-in-place requirements set forth hereunder applies in the event of an emergency. In such cases, persons are encouraged to leave their homes or residences and shelter in place in accordance with the rules included in this order at a safe alternate location. Persons experiencing homelessness are urged to obtain shelter and to contact governmental and other entities for assistance. It is further ordered that the Department of Public Health, the Department of Public Safety, or any other state department or state officer deputized by the governor or the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency are, after providing reasonable notice, authorized to mandate the closure of any business, establishment, corporation, nonprofit corporation, or organization not in compliance with this order for a period not to extend beyond the term of this order. It is further ordered that the Adjutant General of the Georgia National Guard and the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety shall provide resources as requested to assist in the enforcement of this order. It is further ordered that pursuant to Code Section 38-3-51, the powers of counties and cities conveyed in Titles 36 and 38, including those specific powers enumerated in Code Sections 36-5-22.1 and 36-35-3, are hereby suspended to the extent of suspending enforcement of any local ordinance or order adopted or issued since March 1, 2020, with the stated purpose or effect of responding to a public health, state of emergency, ordering residents to shelter in place, ordering a quarantine, or combating the spread of coronavirus or COVID-19 that in any way conflicts, varies, or differs from the terms of this order. Enforcement of all such ordinances and orders is hereby suspended, and no county or municipality shall adopt any similar ordinance or order while this order is in effect, except for such ordinances or orders as are designated to enforce compliance with this order. It is further ordered that if one or more of the provisions contained in this order shall conflict with the provisions of any previous executive order or agency administrative order, the provisions of this order shall control. Further, in the event of any conflict, the provisions of any quarantine or isolation order issued to a specific person by the Department of Public Health shall control. It is further ordered that nothing in this order shall be construed to suspend or limit the sale, dispensing, or transportation of firearms or ammunition or any component thereof. It is further ordered that pursuant to Code Section 38-3-7, any person who violates this order shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Officials enforcing this order should take reasonable steps to provide notice prior to issuing a citation or making an arrest. It is further ordered that this order rescinds and replaces Executive Order 03.23.20.01. Further ordered that if one or more of the provisions contained in this order shall be held to be invalid, in violation of the Georgia Constitution, in violation of Georgia law, or unenforceable in any respect, such invalidity, violation, or unenforceability shall not affect any other provision of this order, but in such case this order shall be construed as if such invalid, illegal, or unenforceable provision had never been contained within this order. It is further ordered that all provisions of this order shall become effective for a period beginning at 6 p.m. on Friday, April 3, 2020, and expiring at 11:59 p.m. on Monday, April 13, 2020. This second day of April 2020 at 3:12 p.m. signed by Georgia Governor.
Okay, so upon your reading of the executive order issued by the governor that we received moments ago, it would be my interpretation of reading it that there would be no action needed by this board, correct?
I would agree with that, yes.
So with that being said, do we have anyone that signed up for public comment in this section?
No, sir.
If there's no public comment there, then we will adjourn this meeting.